And I'm trying to monitor the chat myself, but I get caught up in other stuff. So I think it would interrupt everybody who's been sitting in queue. So I'm not sure I can. I can maybe mute it. Okay, going off mute. And Evan should be popping in. And we're hoping to start off with him, so. So if he doesn't show up here in the near term, we'll start off with dirt race, and then we'll go to Coke. And I guess everyone start hitting multi-record. No, he will. I've had interactions with him. I'm just waiting for him. But if you see him drop in, bring him down in the room. There he is, so. Okay, I'm about ready to start. Here we go. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, Brian McCubbin. All right, David Hall. Greg Hectus. In a big way this week. Tony Groves. Welcome. And special guest Evan Pasoko. All right, well, welcome. Yeah, we had the Coke race in a pretty kind of historic situation with the Daytona road being switched to quickly from Watkins Glen and with the new chicane and everything. Looks like before the race we even had a hype video put out by iRacing trying to get the NASCAR fans involved too. What do you think about going into the race?
Chicane.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the race. Of course, no surprise, Bobby Zielinski starts on the pole by over 4 tenths. I didn't expect 4 tenths, but that was no surprise. Yeah, it was a real clean start as Bobby drove away from the field. And about lap five, Zach Novak goes around and he lost some spots. Lap seven, Clampett faded a little from second to fourth. And then a big thing for Jarl Tien is Ray Alfala completely kind of messed up the bus stop and sends Jarl for quite a ride in the grass. Yeah, and then next up, pit stops. I thought it was a little earlier. Early, I thought, but we had Busa, Luza, Kerwin, and others pitting at lap 12. Eric Smith went off at 14, and then a bunch of cars pitted on lap 15, including the leader. But still leading after that pit cycle, basically, Bobby Zielinski, now ahead of Nick Ottinger, who was running in second and had a great day. Right, exactly. And track position was king, so qualifying was really important. Um, and so, anyway, lap 19, we actually picked up a good battle between Bolin and Davies and Kerwin, fighting it out for 14th. But what a three-way battle. And then documented early issues with Schoenberg, Colin Keister, Jarl Tien, Chris Overland. Um, Schoenberg ended up retired from the event. Yeah, I'm really impressed, especially after running there myself and seeing how hard it is. But, right. Kudos, it was clean pretty much the whole race. Yeah. But after that, the battle was on for second place. Zelensky was pretty much checked out. Jimmy Mullis, the best of the rest right then, he was looking good. He needed a good points night to close in on that bubble for the playoff. Yep, and nice to see Steve Letarte join in for a discussion about the race and him studying what's going on, getting ready for the actual NASCAR race, and then you guys talked about the happy hour thing that iRacing put on as well. Yeah, absolutely. 16 to go. Bobby has a 35-second lead over Leahy. 8 seconds back from there, Jimmy Mullis, Nichols, Novak, Vincent, Lowe, Clampett, Conti. There was a good battle between Challenger and Clampett on 13 to go for fourth. Then on 12 to go, Bobby has a 15-second lead over Mullis, Ottinger, Challenger, Clampett. And then it was a nice segment I wanted to bring up here where you showed a video of the drivers on how to get involved in sim racing. And I thought that was kind of neat, like a commercial. Yep. I love the shooting from the hip feel, though, but that's the way it's been in 2020 with iRacing and NASCAR, and it's worked. Yep, and then 7 to go. Corey Vincent is having a great run, gets by Michael Conti for 6th place. 5 to go. Corey Vincent has suspension damage from the turtles and falls back a bit, trying to hang on though. There hasn't been a lot of people moved through the field. The top 10 that all started in the top 10 were running top 10 as they run on lap 36. John Gorlinski did start last and moved up the most spots so far, 17 spots. And people not making mistakes, just great driving. And yeah, and then with 2 to go, Bobby Zalinski, 18-second lead at that point over Mullis, Ottinger, Challoner, Clampett. And then Challoner, Clampett, boy, a great battle there at the end on the final lap for P4. And Challoner was holding him off, and that was really fun to at least have that to watch as Bobby wins it by over 18 seconds, his 5th road course win in a row in this series. Yep, and he's only 2 points out of the point lead now. Keegan's 2 points ahead of him, so he moves up there real close. And Jimmy Mullis moves up to 9th. He's only 5 points out of the cutoff there. So So he really positioned himself well. But people like Brad Davies, man, really had a tough day. Yeah, and then shout out to Christian Schallender, who finished fourth. He moves up to 21st, right there on the cutoff for staying in the series. So he's trying to fight in for the top 20. So that's another fight to watch. Yep. Yep. All right. And so the next race coming up, what do you expect is going to happen there? Well, yeah, I love the plate races. It's going to be fun. Yeah, I think that's been fixed. Yeah, it'll be fun to watch, though. I'm looking forward to it. Well, Evan Pasoko, thank you for coming on and talking Coke racing with us. And hey, we'll catch you next time. All right, very good. I love the Coke racing, but let's talk dirt racing next, Brian. World of Outlaws late model. Yep, and then Drew Hopkins takes the first heat after setting quick time in qualifying, and Heat 2 is won by Tyler Descharme. So that takes us to Heat 3, where Dylan Wilson starts in last in a stacked field, including champions from the past 2 years. But Dylan managed to work his way up to fourth to make the feature, with Kendall Tucker taking the win. Then Evan Say takes the fourth heat after a physical battle with Hayden Cardwell, who finishes second. Okay. And then after that, several laps, Alex Bergeron and Dylan Hauser were exchanging contact, but it's championship contender Dylan Wilson who pays the price and gets spun on lap 15, sending him to the rear of the field and with damage. On the restart, Cardwell's battling for the lead with Tucker, with the possibility of running away with the championship, when on lap 18 he loses his internet connection and doesn't return until he's 9 laps down. Ouch! That has got to be hurt, especially on lap or race 8 of 10. Yeah, Kendall Tucker holds off a challenge from Devin Morgan to win his first World Championship race. Kendall Tucker. Well done. There was a change in the points lead with Dylan Wilson back on top by just 1 point over Cardwell, and Kendall Tucker back in the hunt in third, 15 points down. Round 9 will be Monday at Williams Grove. Who knows what'll happen? Well, I guess Greg's sleeping over here. I didn't get to watch it, but it was interesting. Like Evan was talking about how they had the crew chief involved and so forth, and so you had William Byron, you had his crew chief, you had people from iRacing, like some Coke drivers in there too, and they're just kind of working on the set, and trying to make it faster and running laps and that kind of thing. So I think it's the other way around. I think Garrett Lowe had the fastest lap by 7/10 over William Byron. So the idea, I think, was the time attack to set a benchmark, and so Garrett Lowe had the fastest time in that, and then William Byron went out to try to, hey, let's try to get to that time, but he got within 7/10. Yep. Yep. Looks like Fanatec, maybe 2.5 CSL and V3 pedals, perhaps. Yeah, it is a MPI wheel. I'm liking the triple monitor mount, which is independent of the rig. It looks like it's solid. Right. Well, welcome. Right, with the Wilkesboro. Well, he owns it. He's the owner. This guy's a multi-millionaire. You got to remember that part. Yeah, pretty cool that he's on iRacing, and this is the guy that he's. You got to remember with NASCAR, and how that NASCAR makes decisions. This guy is integral in all those decisions because he owns half the tracks, and so he's a key player. And for him to have a rig now and have his own triples and be out there on the track with us, that's awesome. It's going to be great. This article is based on an interview Kelly did with Steve Myers from iRacing, and I'm going to read a quote from the article. He's talking about Ben Kennedy, who is the vice president of racing development for NASCAR. He's also obviously Bill France Jr.'s grandson, and he's heir apparent to NASCAR. But anyway, here's the quote. He said, I said, Ben, the Cup guys, some of them are going to get simulator time, but we know the truck and Xfinity guys aren't going to get any time in the simulators, most likely, said Myers. The only option they're going to have to practice for this race is iRacing. He immediately got us all the technical data they had come up with to put the chicane together. He gave me that on a Sunday, and by Tuesday evening, we had it released onto the member site. Yeah, it's pretty cool how it worked out. I think they had the chicane in progress before they actually got all that data from NASCAR. That's what made it able to get out that quick, too. I got a perfect example for you, Tony. How about the choose cone? In fact, Steve Myers tweeted that they're looking at adding it in the choose cone into iRacing. But that's a good example. Maybe an NASCAR came to iRacing and said, "Hey, you know what? We want to see how these races play out when there's a choose cone rule implemented. Can you go ahead and do that in your series and let's see what happens? And based on that, we'll decide if we want to add it." Yeah, the choose cone is obviously they've already started that, but that that kind of rule change that would be great, for us to kind of field out for NASCAR and to see how the NIS races play out and if they play out how they want, then maybe they'll implement it. Yeah, next year. Okay, another quick hit story from Steve Myers. He put on Twitter that it's high on his list of features he wants to add. When asked by Matt Henderson, have you ever discussed the possibility of adding other human drivers to an AI race so we can race with friends? Pretty cool. Well, it's a mix of, human and AI. Love it. For leagues, if you only can get 15 guys to come show up, then you can run another 15 AI so you fill a field. Right. Oh yeah. How many times have I gone looking for a sprint race and there's only one or two drivers in the race, and I'm like, I'm not going to go in there. And, that's a waste. If it was a full field, I'd be in there all the time. To me, it's not. I want a full field. I think that's an important part of having oval races at least. Even I would say road course races too, to a degree. Yeah, I'm glad that he acknowledged they're looking at it at least, because I think in the long term that would be the ideal, especially maybe not an official, but maybe for hosted in league. Especially those leagues that are trying to build and hey, we got 10 guys, we just got 12, and we're trying to get more, but hey, we still have full fields. This is a listener I hooked up with on email. God, I can't remember his name, but anyway, he's got a pretty cool little site. Now, we've talked about this a little bit before, but I thought I'd bring it up again because he's got a website now. Well, I think it was Dave Cameron who had some merchandise that was kind of through this, and then this has now turned into a website where before I think it was just some kind of T-shirt place, but now they actually have a proper website and so forth, and sim racing merch. So, what do you think of the shirts, though? I am the caution. That would be mine. Hashtag soon. Yeah, it says send it, is what it says. Time to send it. Yeah, this isn't iRacing. This is something else. It reminds me of the Roval when Brad Keselowski and others drove it in too deep and all piled into the wall. But in this case, it's the entire field piled in. They orchestrated it pretty well. I know oval works. I'm not sure about road. They were going fast. Yeah, Ryan Ellis, the Xfinity driver, posted this this weekend. I think it went pretty viral. I've seen it everywhere. That means pro. That's right. And Brett Van Meter put down a throwdown to iRacers Lounge to participate in this bounty. He posted up on the forums replying to our thread that we update every week with our podcast link, saying, "Hey, love the podcast, Mike. I listen every week. Dale Jr. download, door bumper clear, and you guys are my go-to podcast. I would like to invite you and your crew to attempt this bounty. We have put on Richard Lucky in our Xfinity series. We are awarding 40 to anyone who can outrun them." Well, yeah, that's the problem. It runs when we run our NIS race, and or we'd be there, man, taking that $40. I guarantee it. All right, but somebody out there can get it. One of our listeners. So go get that bounty, guys, at ohiosimracing.com. Okay. Right, but don't ask for your I rating and safety rating back, your I rating back, because you lost it. You're not going to get it back. Okay, so next up we have is Season 3, Patch 6. I just want to say, man, for them to still be releasing patches in August, mid-August, and the release is in early September, that is amazing that these guys just never stop. They could easily hold this stuff till later. Now, some of it they needed to get out, and we'll talk about that. But I just got to say kudos for iRacing to continue to get these patches out and updating stuff. Yeah, so let's talk about that. I mean, Daytona, what did they change there? Well, I don't think the timing's based on that. I think it's based on NASCAR making changes at the track. They're getting this information real time and they're making the changes real time. Because, well, I did see a post from Tyler Hudson right before the show. I don't have a link, but it did indicate that he said they were making these curb changes based on what NASCAR was doing on the track, and they were just following what they were doing, and because people were complaining that the cars were getting damaged and this and that. Yeah, good point. I would guess they're trying to match up lap times to real life. And Yeah, should be interesting. All right, housekeeping notes. Hey, we love hearing from listeners. Our email is iRacersLounge@gmail.com. Shoot us a link with story ideas, just a link, that's all I need, and we'll make it a story. So thank you for your involvement. Don't forget, we're on the Performance Motorsports Network over there with those guys. And next up, hardware, software. Yeah, it's got integrated eye tracking inside the VR goggles, and the idea is you develop the software to integrate that. You know, you use that as to guide what you're presenting visually. Medical surgery. Yeah, there's a great video on this too at that MRTV. Brian, you found that YouTube channel. He does a lot of VR stuff, and boy, these things look robust. Look at the 340 mark of the video, how it attaches to your head, and it's, you know, adjustable, and it's just, I love the design of it. It's like the best looking VR goggles I've ever seen, but they do cost $10,000. Is that right? That's all. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how you not have the wire, but so who is going to be the first iRacer to spend $10,000 on this and try it and let us know if it works? David Flowers was going to buy some goggles. Come on, Flowers, get it done. It's a seat mover, is what it is. It just moves the seat. Yeah, if you look at the 53-minute mark, you'll see it moving. But for a seat mover and for that price, I mean, that's not too bad. That seems affordable, considering we've seen seat movers before. I did watch not all the video, but I did watch the last part of it, where he described, what he thought about it. But he liked it. I mean, for being a seat mover, and he's tried a few of them, he indicated he liked it. Now, the way he built this thing is, it sits like 8-10 inches tall, and then you mount the seat on top of it, and he just kind of dropped that in a 80/20 rig, and he just kind of built 80/20 around it, so to speak. Well, the other thing that really gets me with this kind of setup is the wheel's not moving with the seat. Okay, so the wheel is stationary. So you're holding onto the steering wheel that's not moving, but you're moving because the seat's moving. I think it'd be better for the steering wheel, the pedals, and the seat to be moving all together as a whole. Well, it doesn't take much to trick the mind and give the mind that sensation. Based on what Barry said, it works pretty good, but I'm sure it's not the same as a proper motion rig that moves the whole thing. Yeah, Google search Motion Gear 2UN, $2,500. And I think it's Korean. It does say free shipping is only available in Korea. That's how I presume that, but it does look like they ship it worldwide. Yeah, Chicago, Illinois is where they're based out of. Yeah, they are. They do have some pictures of some of their work down below. If you click on to the Facebook link, you'll see the wind thing that he's selling, the wind kit, so to speak, and he's got it selling on Etsy, and there's a link to Etsy, and that's where he's actually selling the stuff. So if you click through to the Etsy, you'll see that he got a couple different options here for the wind simulator. 480 CFM at $329. He's got another kit, 960 CFM, $479. Yeah. It does, and it looks like it's a complete kit from the pictures and stuff. It's got wiring, tubing, everything. The blowers and everything are in a bright red, so it's kind of pops at you. Kind of impressed with Simnetics, is what it's called. Yeah, he's also selling a Dash product as well, and that looks pretty cool as well. It's got a little display, and it's got the RPM color gauge thing across the top, and it kind of sits right above the Fanatec DD1, and it looks like he's even got a integration with the Winducts as well. Gonna, so if you're gonna buy the Wind machine, you can get this Dash to integrate with it. Yeah, the Dash with LEDs 229, and then the one with the fan integration 259. Chicago, yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. I mean, for 259, get the Dash with the fan integration, and then buy the $329 Wind kit to go with it. That's 500 and almost $600. Well, you'd have a really nice bolt on, to almost any rig. This is absolute gold for me, and I really put this on the script so I could search it in the future and find it when I decide to upgrade my cockpit to 8020, and have to figure out a way to mount my MPPC pedals, because that's what I have, which are main performance PC sim pedals. And mine hang from a custom bracket that's made for the Oboto Revolution. And there's no way I can just like convert this onto a 8020 easily And so I've always kind of shied away of the idea of getting a different rig because of that. But now, thanks to Marcus, he's engineered a way to basically attach these particular pedals to a SimLabs. And boy, if I can attach them to a SimLabs, I can probably attach them to anything with this solution that he's come up with. So kudos, Marcus, and to anyone who has my pedals, you might want to check this out. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have some flex on my wheel with this 80 with this particular rig, and is it enough to want to have to go buy another one? Maybe not, but at some point I imagine I'm going to upgrade. Right. Okay, next up, simhub-.com. Okay, it's a program where you can add external hardware to your simulator, from dashboards to base shakers. Many possibilities are available, and everything is modular. It's similar to SimVibe from SimExperience. And so they have download now software. They have create your own dashboard studio, where you can kind of design how you want it to be, to show on a secondary monitor, phone, tablet, or more. It uses Arduino. What do you guys think about this? I don't know a lot about it. So it's basically a free version of the SimVibe, which is normally 90. Yeah, SimVibe does a lot though. I mean, it runs their wheel and their seat and various other things that SimExperience offers, in addition to base shakers. But this SimHub, it works as a base shaker software replacement, so to speak. That's handy. Or disgust you, maybe? Well, that makes it all better. Now, so for our audio listeners, I'm going to try to describe what I see. So in front of an entertainment center is a walker. It looks like a walker a grandpa would use, where you stand up and you put your hands on either side, and in the middle of the walker, kind of suspended there, is a bucket. It basically, and it's a poop bucket, so to speak. And apparently, you're supposed to go potty in it, kind of thing. But yeah, you see, zip tied to it a G29 wheel. Nice. Did he empty it first? Well, look how solid the seat is, though, too. I mean, he picked a quality seat. The seat's kind of like a lawn chair, but it's soft. Yeah, it's very flimsy kind of look to it. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Heiskenveld Sim Pedals Sprint are now available in the U.S. Jens Percott has now opened his U.S.-based Sim-Motion gear shop and announced that he has these Heiskenveld Sim pedals and base plates available without pre-order. They're going fast already. Don't delay. Now, this is a message from Darren Ganji. Everyone remembers Darren Ganji. He ran, or does run, or has run a very popular YouTube channel on sim racing for quite some time, and we've covered so many stories from Darren that he's done on this podcast over the years, and he's involved in this business, and with his good friend Jens Percott, and you can actually email Darren at d.ganji@sim-motion.com if you have any questions or want to place an order. Well, I think it's great that there's a U.S. price, a place to buy it in the U.S., because before when you buy Heiskenveld, you pretty much are buying it from Europe. But he has a great website when you click through to it. It's all set up for purchase where you can add it to the shopping cart. Price $7.99 plus shipping, and then the base plate was $99. And it still looks like I can buy it right now, so it looks like they might still be in stock. Yeah, that's the biggest joke. Yeah. That's a good entry level thing. The thing is, it's not an upgrade much over what they already have. So I think a lot of people were disappointed with that, hoping Logitech might get into belt driven or maybe direct drive or something like that. But of course they didn't. Now this thing does have true force feedback, is what they call it. And apparently, from what I've read, it's just some kind of vibration or something that's added that's different or in addition to the regular feedback. David Tucker did put in the forums that iRacing already supports this feature. I just wish it was a little cheaper. I mean, when I first started, I bought a G27. I think I paid 250, and that was the entry point. Now the entry point's 400. All right, let's jump into fantasy. Yeah, I see I fell down the standings a bit. Yeah, but if they don't want to take the backup cars, you can't eliminate that. Right. Or I'm sure they bring more than one, but they probably only prepare one, right? All right, let's get into results. Results is sponsored by Ucora, UCORA 2020 Throwback Indie Series. The iRacers Lounge podcast poll award will be given later tonight, right after the recording. And guess what, guys? I'm in the race. I am signed up. David, you're with me, right? Okay, great. And just got signed up with Scott Bolster, who was on last night. Yeah, let's go run it. We're going to run Phoenix tonight in the old IndyCar, and I'm going to probably try to start in the back since I'm new to the league and trying to not run over anybody and see if I can piece my way through there. But let's talk NIS next. Yeah, that's right. NIS, let's finish up Michigan. I'll go first. P23 on Friday Open. Got up high as second and third, but always faded after about 20 laps. Usual wrecker wrecked the field, and I got caught up as usual. But it felt good to run up there in the front, at least on the short run. Tony Rochette was wrecked by dumbasses underneath him who couldn't hold a line. And then Greg, winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, moving to Sunday Open. David Hall, P. Blah. Okay, Brian, you got P23. Yeah, that's the one outcome that's changed is waiver rounds are very rare now in the NIS series. But when before you could almost always get a waiver round. Okay, Tony Rochette was fast. He led 23 laps. Got Dord fighting for fourth on a restart with 9 to go. He wrecked himself. I had damage. That sucks. And now Daytona Road. Let's talk about Wednesday Open. David, you start P18. Yeah, it's like we talked about with Evan before. It's all about track position because there wasn't a lot of passing. I mean, it was like you ran where you qualified it, unless somebody screwed up. Okay, Greg, you got P11. Okay, and then I ran as well, P31. Started off okay on the first lap, but about halfway through it, I got stacked up in the infield and I got front end damage. Wasn't too bad, but somehow over the first 3 laps, I had 13x. I soldiered on, was holding my own, and around halfway, it blew up and the motor gave out. Got 17 championship points with a P31. I'm one and done, man. I was bad out there. I overdrove the braking zones. I don't know if it's a mental block with that particular track, but I'm so used to driving the Ferrari and sports cars and stuff that I just can't retrain my brain that quick. I just didn't. I did some practice laps. I did. I came in early. I did some laps, but it wasn't enough. I couldn't retrain my brain, and yeah, I blew it. Yeah, you could say that. Tony Rochette, P4, best finish ever on an NIS road course. He says, loving the Day Trovel. The Day Trovel. Okay, title idea, loving the Day Trovel. I like that. Greg, Thursday Open, P5. Let's talk other official. Greg, you've been what I call farming successfully. Gained what 700 I rating or something this week, but A Open, you've been kicking butt. Okay, Brian, you ran some A Open P6. Okay. And then I skipped the Sprint Car Pavement Series. I didn't own the track this week. I did run NASCAR Legends to get some points, one and done kind of thing. P12 out of 19. I started 12th, finished 12th. I had no tires at the end of that race, and I was overshooting the carousel every time. Those cars are so hard to slow down, and but I was just glad to get some points and get out of there. And then Greg, you ran the ISCA P4, but you were racing for the win. And it was a fun race. I watched that. The top four, you guys were duking it out there at the end, just trading the lead back and forth, and it was clean and it was fun to watch. All right, with that, let's get to final thoughts. Brian McCubbin. Okay, David Hall. Final thought. Yeah, Ucora, as I'm going to call it, UCORA league. I'm looking forward to that. Should be fun. Greg Hectus, final thoughts. Okay, very good. Tony Groves, final thoughts. Ooh, exciting. Yes, I'll be tuning in. Okay, very good. My final thoughts, even though the title is Loving the Day Trovel of the podcast, I've been hating the Day Trovel. It's just, I'm just junk out there, guys. I was embarrassed. You think I'm pretty good at iRacing. You know, sometimes I run pretty well. I've gotten some big wins in my time. I'm pretty good on ovals. I can hold my own on road sometimes. But boy, them leaving Watkins Glen and doing this really hurt me. I think I could have went to Watkins Glen and got a top 15 maybe, and maybe got some more points. But here, you know, I was embarrassed out there. I couldn't make it around the track successfully, and ended up with a P31. So I didn't get much points. Kind of run out of this week with my tail between my legs, so to speak, and looking forward to Dover for sure, and Daytona. Obviously, we're looking for wins at Daytona, so can't wait, and kind of using this as some off time this week. And I feel like I can. I mean, but I don't know. It's like retraining my brain. I guess I need to work on that. But how do you teach an old dog new tricks? I don't know. But with that, we'll see you on the track. Later.